Hi, I'm Jonah Comstock, editor-in-chief of pharmaphorum. I'm here with Brian Culley, the CEO of Lineage Therapeutics. Lineage Cell Therapeutics, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
We're at JP Morgan. It's day 3. We're all going a little crazy. And I'm excited to talk to you. You're doing an allogeneic cell therapy, right?
Yeah, that's
Of rare
correct.
breed.
Yeah, all of our programs are allogeneic or off the shelf. One of the things that this can help solve is the high cost that people associate with cell therapy. But if you're making large numbers of cells and it's the same product for everyone, you can really drive down the efficiency of the cost.
So tell me a little bit about what like therapeutic areas you're in, what your product portfolio looks like.
Yeah, so we,
Pipeline.
we are basically manufacturing specific cells of the human body and replacing them. So to date, the sort of best case for this that we're most well known for is in the setting of age-related macular degeneration. This is where your specialized retina cells die off. So we manufacture those cells, transplant, deliver them to the patient in order to replenish or restore the retina and to help that patient regain function, which otherwise would be lost. We also are in the clinic with a spinal cord injury program, which is really exciting, where we manufacture a different kind of cell. It's an oligodendrocyte progenitor cell. We deliver that to people who have suffered from severe spinal cord injuries in order to help them regain mobility. We've got additional programs in hearing loss, and we've started a new program in diabetes. So it's a really exciting new branch of medicine that we're helping to pioneer.
How do you get the body to accept foreign cells? That's the rub with allo, right? There's a risk of rejection.
Yeah, that's a great point. So there are a couple of ways you can do that. When we're working in the eye and the spinal cord, what we have found clinically is that the body is really tolerant. We have the patients on very short-term immunosuppression, then we remove that immunosuppression, and we've got safety data going out without any signs of rejection in cases to 5, 10, even up to 13 years in some of the longest treated patients. But when you start getting away from the eye and the spinal cord, you start getting systemic, you do need to have solutions. So some people want to compartmentalize their cells. We really prefer the idea of creating and using hypoimmune cells. We think there's been exciting data to show that that's possible, and that could be really applicable with something like an islet cell transplant for diabetes.
It's interesting you say patients dosed 13 years ago. We think of cell therapy as this new thing, but you guys have been plugging away for a while, or
Yeah, the first generation ambition for cell therapy, it really missed the target in a lot of places. So now when we're working in second generation technologies, all of the manufacturers, not just us, we've got much better ability to understand the material we're making, how it behaves in the body, our ability to track it, control it, manufacture it. And these are really important. So some of the programs that we have are actually fairly old and they had some deficits, but these are deficits that in using modern technology we can repair. So we're helping breathe some life back into some programs that were very promising when they were first launched, but only now could they actually be viewed as programs that could become to reach the bedside.
that's interesting. But you do have that long longitudinal data. That's probably very rare in this
I
space.
think we have some of the longest, if not the longest, follow-up data in cell therapy. And, the spinal cord is the one where I said we've gone out, we've published out 10 years of follow-up. We've never had a cyst grow or no one's developed a tumor or even rejected the cells. So, the evidence, at least with that cell line in those patients, it's extremely well tolerated.
And so much of the time when we talk about cell therapy, I think everyone just goes to oncology.
Mhm.
But you guys are sort of showing that, especially with off the shelf, there's a lot of other areas where it has promise.
Yeah, I think it reflects a natural evolution of this technology. So the best use case originally, and it's revolutionized oncology, has been CAR T therapy, wildly successful, a lot of value created for shareholders and a lot of life-saving applications. But oncology is, starting to age, and the opportunities to really revolutionize what happens with autologous CAR T are maybe becoming more limited. But you're also talking at the same time about opportunities in areas like Parkinson's or diabetes or dry age-related macular degeneration that have not yet fallen to the opportunity for cell therapy to replace the whole cell and drive these enormous clinical outcomes. So I think this is the real growth opportunity is away from oncology, or what we sometimes jokingly call non-oncology indications.
What is coming up for you in 2026? What are you here to talk about at JPM?
Wow, a lot of people are really eager to find out how things are going with our macular degeneration program. The best available therapies today just slow disease a little bit and they don't change vision. Our partners, Roche and Genentech, shared some of our phase one data showing that patients could have increases in vision that have lasted out to 3 years. So that's incredible. You know, it never happens naturally. So everyone is really interested to know how the clinical trial that Genentech is running with our lead program is going. So hopefully 2026 will be the year of big updates for the company. And then I think that will reflect favorably on other applications of this technology we have in other places. Ultimately, we hope to have a basket, maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 programs, all built on our what we call alloscope program of allogeneic cells that we can affordably manufacture, hopefully safely deliver and get these clinical outcomes that we're looking for. So we're just trying to become a very large and successful company based on this platform.
How do you source your cells in the first place?
Well, there are two main sources of pluripotent stem cells. These are the undifferentiated cells that serve as the basis or the beginning. There are two kinds. There are induced pluripotent stem cells or embryonic sourced stem cells. The thing about either of these types of cells is that they are self-renewing. So once you have chosen a line, it can grow and replenish simply through cellular division, and it can essentially supply an endless amount of raw material. Choosing the line that behaves well and doesn't succumb to genetic drift and doesn't spontaneously differentiate and all the other problems that you can have with lines. That's part of the difficulty of this technology. But once you find a line that behaves well, it can be really important.
Cool. Um, well, I think that's everything I had. And just stepping away from your own company, been here for a few days. Anything interesting you're seeing or hearing around the show?
Optimism. I hasn't been present at this conference in every year of the last few years, and so I think people are really excited that maybe we're going to start seeing a few things in the macro environment, also in the biotech sector, certainly in cell and gene therapy. Maybe some things are starting to turn and looking right. There's a lot of attention on clinical data readouts, and there probably ought to be a lot of attention. We're seeing a lot of financing, a lot of M&A. So there are things happening this year that perhaps foretell that things will look good as we have to year.
I mean, it feels to me like I did a panel on cell therapy. I attended some panels on cell therapy. It feels to me like there's a lot more like sense of like what else can we do? Whether it's a different delivery vector, a different cell type, a different therapeutic area. There's this widening of the lens of cell therapy, as you say, beyond CAR T, beyond oncology, and it does feel like that's almost kind of pervasive this year.
Yeah, I think you hear a lot about manufacturing. I mean, there've been some high profile exits from cell therapy from some companies that decided to exit. But again, a lot of this is around autologous oncology. It has well established problems. If you can't solve them, you've got to look at elsewhere for new ideas. So I think the opportunities in non-oncology indications are where the excitement of the growth is going to lie.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for chatting with me.
It's my pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.